Hello, folks. Welcome to this special Let's Talk podcast, where I'll be talking to a couple of my friends from the Blood Bowl League, Die Eternal and Gladius, the commissioner, and we'll be talking about Blood Bowl 3, what it's coming, when it's coming, and what we might think might happen. So, welcome to the podcast, gentlemen.
Sup?
Hello.
Yep, welcome. So, gentlemen, let's start off with the obvious. What did you guys think about Blood Bowl 3 being announced back in E3 in May?
Well, not really announced when it a leak.
Well, it was a leak, but it did get announced eventually.
It did get announced. Yes, I agree with that. And I was a little surprised because I don't feel they're really done with Blood Bowl 2. Like, there are still a few missing teams, and there's definitely improvements and work that can be done on Blood Bowl 2.
Glad, your thoughts?
I think it's going to be a good, interesting thing that can upgrade the current Blood Bowl level of play in Blood Bowl 2. Yes, he is right about the missing teams, but if they do it correctly, of course they're updating the rules, but it could be really good for Blood Bowl.
Yeah, that I'm actually a bit worried about. Like, as soon as recently got back into tabletop as well, and knowing a tabletop version is coming first, I'm hoping they don't butcher what we've had for so many years on the tabletop.
I agree with you, but I feel that with the current rules now getting updated, and with as many of you know, some of the teams have now just been redesigned, like the Halflings.
Yeah, I have read about that. I haven't played with it yet.
Yeah, so I have a feeling that that's what they're going to do. They're going to redesign all the new teams and bring back the old teams because I think a lot of people were a bit upset, like you said, that some of the old teams didn't make the appearance. But I think that's
Yeah.
what Bubble Free is going to be. Is
My
like,
prime example, Corn.
which one? Which one again?
My big example being Corn and possibly even the Slan.
Ah, those two. I could see Korn make return, but Slan's had a bit of a weird history with Blood Bowl as of late. I don't know why, but
It has, but the fact Kislev are basically Slan.
Yeah, I was about to say, Kislev.
Yeah. Like, they're both putting them in as like a mirror of the Slan. Seems like they wanted the team, but like a weird scenario with couldn't do the copyright or something. It just seemed very, very unusual.
it
And
does.
what I love to see is Chaos Pack.
Yeah, I do miss Zinch Slanesh. I know we got Nurgle, and we don't have it in Blood Bowl 2. We have Corn in Blood Bowl 1. I would like to see all the gods represented.
Oh, definitely. I would like to see that too.
Agreed. But I think what we're gonna look at here is I think what they're gonna do is, and this is what I think they'll do. They'll bring out the first 8 teams, which we all know it's gonna be humans, orcs, chaos, dwarfs,
Skaven?
Skaven, elves, and the lizardmen. Right? They're gonna lizardmen, and who would you say with the last two?
Skaven would probably be one.
Well, I've already mentioned Skaven. Goblins, because they normally show up a lot.
They show up
And
a lot, but they're not usually a release team. None of the stunties usually are.
oh, and Wood Elves normally get first pick as
Yeah.
well.
Wood Elves, when they're considered the absolute best agility team, yeah, they'll definitely be one.
Yeah.
I think it's probably going to be something similar to Blood Bowl 2 releases. Humans, orcs,
Same.
dwarves, Skaven, undead, chaos, Norse.
Wouldn't go with
Maybe
Norse.
not Amazons, but
Undead 100%. There needs to be an undead
Yeah.
faction. And
Yeah.
considering Tomb Kings aren't in Age of Sigmar, yeah. It's going to be
Yeah.
undead or necro.
And you mentioned a good point there, Di.
definitely some kind of elf.
Yeah, because which elf dropped to Blood Bowl 2? Wasn't it High Elves?
No, High Elves are in.
High elves and dark elves.
Yeah,
Yeah.
High and Dark. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
got to be those two, really, hasn't it?
Yeah. And you mentioned a good point there, Di. Age of Sigmar does play a little bit of effect in Blood Bowl at the moment because with many of the races now changing, could there be a chance we could see some of those races make their way into Blood Bowl?
Like, as a tournament player for Warhammer 7th and 8th edition, and a complete hater of Age of Sigmar,
You're not the
and
only one.
the whole new universe where everything's in space, I hope not, but I do think you can be right. I think those Sigmarines or whatever their real name is are very likely going to be erased.
I don't think they'll be in. I think what we'll probably get is, right, we'll probably get some of the new elves, like the sea creatures and all them. We might see them. We might
Very
see,
likely.
yeah, we might see the fire dwarfs because they look funky.
We'll see a very drastic change of dwarfs now that got those lizard handheld flamethrower things.
Yeah, but I don't think there'll be too much of a change. I think there'll be just slight tweaks. I mean, we already had it with the halflings, with the halflings now having a goat star player, which is kind of weird, but hey ho.
But again, maybe it doesn't fit into Age of Sigmar, so I'm not putting it on the lore because I didn't like it.
I
I
don't.
wonder what the rules be changing though, because that's gonna be the main part of the update.
That's my biggest fear, is how do they change the rules to fit into this? I know it's kind of a skirmish war game already, but now that Warhammer, quote unquote, is a skirmish game, what do they do to the already skirmish game? Like, Mordheim is gone.
Well, Mordheim isn't gone. I think it will come back eventually. It's just at the moment we don't know what GW's planning at the moment because
No one does.
No one does.
They're a low one for their own.
yeah, but I do believe Blood Bowl won't change too much. I think Blood Bowl will probably stay as it is.
I hope you're right. I just doubt it, unfortunately.
But
Yeah.
I think we can all agree on one thing. We do want to see the Chaos Pact gods, all of them come in, like Tzeentch, Nurgle, Khorne, and Slaanesh. We would like to see all of them come in.
I'd love to see all the Chaos Gods. I'd love to see the Tomb Kings, even... I'm pretty sure they're not an Age of Sigmar race anymore, but I'd love to see Kamari, Nagash, and all that continue.
Yeah, I'd
Yeah.
like to also.
I think
And maybe not have them have decay on the mummies.
Yeah. But I think Batonia's gone in Age of Sigmar now, isn't it? I think it's all
Yeah.
just like 1 or 2 human races.
Yeah,
Is it?
yeah, Batonian's gone.
Yeah. So I'd love to see them continue, even though they haven't been mainstream or in every game. I would like to see Batonia continue as well, as they add something quite unique and different to Blood Bowl 2.
I
There are 21 factions.
Yeah, I believe they'll still keep them all in. It's just that what they'll be is they'll just have their own set of rules and fluff.
Possible.
But there's one thing I do want to see, change in Blood Bowl 3, right?
Yeah.
I want to see more customization options, because that's been screaming for a long time with Blood Bowl.
Yeah, but the fact
Definitely.
that models don't even update with mutations like extra hand, 2 heads, was quite a disappointment, because if I remember correctly, that was a thing in Blood Bowl 1.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, in Blood Bowl 1, when you got the mutation, you instantly saw the head or the arm.
Exactly. So seeing that missing from Blood Bowl 2 was quite disappointing when I eventually did mutation teams.
But it's not only the mutations, but I want to see more. Like, I want to paint my own colored strips. I don't want like pre-rendered ones. I want to color my own.
That too, yeah. Like full chroma control would be an outstanding addition. Give you a couple options like main color, off color, and then accent. Even just those 3 as full chroma would allow such a great customization compared to what we currently have. And with that weird science system of buying extra ones as well, overall seems quite pointless.
Agreed. What about you, Glad? What do you think?
Oh, I was just looking at the race of Age of Sigmar.
Yeah.
Oh God. We can save that little discussion
I
for
kind
another.
of know it, but I don't know all of them.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not going to start on Age of Sigmar, as I said. As a tournament player for Warhammer 8, Age of Sigmar was such a blow to me, I don't even want to look at it.
I don't blame you, mate.
But y'all were talking about customizations, though, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, customization, I think, even just 3 colors, I said main, accent, maybe a
I feel
couple
like
patterns
I
for
would-
his accent.
Yes, I will say keep something similar to Blood Bowl 2 as a base. If, of course, expand it, I would like to see the expansion of it. Say, for example, you have an orc player with the armor, like a black orc. You want him to have big armor? Good. Or you want him to freaking just have nothing but lower armor? Fine, you can have that.
Yeah, I wouldn't even go that far. I'd say give you your main color, and then maybe a pattern option, and then give a couple options with chroma accents so you can pick, and then like the trim color so you can pick bronze, gold, silver. You know, the metal highlight color.
I
And I
like
think
I like I would like to kind of see that. I like to see what they have currently in Blood Bowl faces. I want to see an expansion of that because that's already in Blood Bowl 2.
agree.
I would like to see different types of armor sets for certain factions. Yeah, that's a lot of work because there's a lot of different models you have to worry about.
But even then, you still
But I like to see that.
as a developer, you still got that base model, and you modify on that, so it shouldn't take too much time and shouldn't be that difficult to introduce. I'd
Exactly,
say
because they
yeah.
already got the different helmets for Chaos in Blood Bowl 2.
Exactly.
I mean, heck, same for the Beastmen heads. There's a ton of Beastmen heads. I like
Yeah,
them to
so I'd
expand on it,
say-
including to armors, though.
I'd say continue that, but then it's going to depend on how they monetize it. So I know Cyan isn't really all that monetized, which is actually quite nice. So you don't feel like you've got to put extra money into your purchase.
That
If they monetize it, just do it like you've done before.
Yeah,
Pay for the races so you get everything with the race. If you want to monetize anything else, just do it as
do it as you
appearance.
can earn it in game. Don't make
do it-
it you buy a full AAA title or AA title, whatever Bubble would be considered as.
Whatever you do, do not be EA and become greedy and have loot boxes in Blood Bowl. Please do not do that.
Fine.
Exactly the
they-
point I was leaning towards
Frank,
there.
thankfully, Scion is not like that. Scion knows the Warhammer community. They know for a fact they won't tolerate it. They're not going to be that stupid.
Again, the Warhammer community these days do tolerate it though.
What if-
Again, sidetracking a little bit with the way Age of Sigmar and 40k is, of buying the biggest new toy makes you OP. But obviously that's soldier model, that's what they care about.
Mm. Well, I'm
So
I'm a 40k player myself, and a Mordheim and Necromunda player, and Blood Bowl tabletop player.
okay.
So I do.
If
So I,
they're going to monetize, that's something that they can do. Have a baseline for everyone of certain amount of armor, spaces, and whatnot, and have a good chunk of them. And if you want extra money from appearances, get some legendary heroes in there. Make them or legendary customizations that people might want to buy, but make it so that people want to buy it.
Yeah,
And not just like
customizations,
loot
100%
boxes.
agree with. Hope they didn't do what I'm not 100% sure if Blood Bowl 2 has done this, but there's some star players that have that little like banner icon on for me.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's because I bought
Yep.
Legendary Edition or if
Yeah.
they are actually Scion purchases.
they are and they ain't, because you can get them in game by just collecting the coins as you level up.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. I disagree with that. For a star player, a standard endorsement that everything should have, don't do that. Like, if you want to give them a custom skin or custom colors to match your team, fine. Don't limit actual playability icons or playability aspects.
I think
Indeed.
I think we will see a customization, because in this modern era now, people want more for their money and they want more freedom to express themselves. I think Sire might do that. Might do that in spades. Might say right, here's they might do it in two phases. Like for the base phase, they'll go, right, you are going to get this much of customization for your stadium. I mean, that was the best thing about Blood Bowl 2. You could customize your stadium. That was good.
I haven't utilized that, I'll be honest.
Well, that was the good thing.
Customizing the stadium was a good addition. I would like to see some expansion of that and focus different aspects of it. You can get certain upgrades to increase different things about
Yeah.
your stadium.
Does that-
and it shows a physical thing in the game too.
Currently, does that add to team value though? So I've played quite a lot of tabletop, and
That does not.
Nope.
okay,
All it does is it devalues your team value, because when you spend coins, it devalues your team a bit.
yeah, anything below 150k in your bank devalues. So yeah, I know they were an option, but
Yeah.
100% not being 100% sure between the difference between 2016 Blood Bowl, which I played tabletop,
Yeah.
and Blood Bowl 2, I've
Well-
been a little bit hesitant to utilize that.
Yeah.
So
Well.
it would be nice to see a more unified rulebook in Blood Bowl 3 and 2020 Blood Bowl tabletop.
Excuse me. Excuse me, guys. I think, yeah, I just had a cough there. The thing is, though, I do believe that a stadium upgrade kit will be fine. I mean, stadium upgrade kits won't affect the game. It won't affect the universal. It's just a customization free option, I would say. Because I mean, we've got
Yeah,
what
that
we've
would
got.
be nice.
Yeah, we've got 5 stadiums at the moment, right? We have the Nagaroth, we have the Old World, the Dwarf one, the Khemri one, and the Underworld.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely
Okay.
expand the amount of stadiums. Definitely.
Okay, so you
'Cause-
mean more visual rather than the rules of like,
Yeah,
if you go down, it's a +1 to injury or
yeah.
If I'm
Like
a chaos guy, I don't want to be in a human stadium. I want to be in a chaos stadium.
yeah.
that's what I mean.
So visual options would be nice as well.
Yep. You know,
But I mean, even the actual effects confuse me a little bit.
yeah. You know what I would love to see? I would love to see the Necropolis return. Remember in Bubble One when you had the Necropolis Stadium for the undead? I would love to see that.
Ooh,
I
it's
would.
been 4 or 5 years since I've played World War One, so
Yeah.
not 100%, I'm afraid.
Yeah, but that was the thing about it. When you went to a certain race, you had their own
Yeah.
Pacific Stadium, and I would love to see some of them make
Yeah.
their returns, along with what we got
And
in
they're
Blood Bowl 2.
cheerleaders.
Oh yes, I would love to see the cheerleaders as well. I mean, I miss the old Squig
Yeah,
cheerleaders.
every team had their own cheerleaders.
I miss the Squig cheerleaders. They were funny as hell.
Yeah.
Cause you had the Squigs trying to eat the goblins. That was hilarious.
Yeah. Whereas now there's what, 3 options? I think it's humans, orcs,
And dwarfs.
dwarf cheerleaders?
Yeah.
Yeah, for 3 options for 23 or 24 teams, the cheerleaders does seem a bit shit.
That's pretty awful.
But-
And the sponsors, the fact the sponsors, as far as I can tell, do nothing in
N-
Blood Bowl 2.
They do,
I
but
don't think
it's
they do anything, do they?
they don't really do much. They're just like an icon option for your stadium.
That's what I mean. It's cosmetic only. There's no in-game effect. Whereas if
Yeah.
you look at the current Blood Bowl or Death Bowl Season 2 rules, they have quite significant effects.
Hmm. But speaking of
Interesting.
Squigs, there is something I do want to bring up, and that is team changes. Because as I guess alluded earlier about the Halflings changes, the Goblins also had a change as well. Because now I think they've got Squigs in their team.
That
Oh,
would
shoot,
be
they
nice.
do?
Squigs in Warhammer 7th and 8th, for me, Squigs was such a big deal. So
Yeah.
lacking them in Blood Bowl, yeah, it does seem to like take away from the whole Goblin thematic and theme.
Yeah, well, I've heard they've been brought
Question:
back.
Is this just a theory,
No, they
or
have.
is this actually true?
No, they were actually in one time during the old age of Blood Bowl, and they were taken out. I've heard rumors that they're going to come back, which would be a good thing.
So it is just rumors, though. That's
Rumours
what
are
I think Glenn is asking there.
Yeah, yeah, it is rumors at the moment, but I do feel they do need to bring some of the old stuff back, but just modernize
Yeah.
it.
But
'Cause-
what was the squid? What was the stat line? Do you remember that?
That was
Oh.
before I started. So,
Yeah, I was around during the beginning era of Blood Bowl, and Squigs were hilarious.
Yeah, look this up.
The Squigs were hilarious. They were like, because they were like, you had to roll to see if the Squig doesn't try to eat the goblin for starters, because there's a chance you could eat him, and then you had then they had the thing called Wild Rampage.
okay, so
'Cause-
it's like the Big Guy Super Rule, but I'm gonna assume you're about to say how it's different.
It's a bit different, yeah. Unlike Wild Animal, and there's a chance a squid could jump anywhere and go bonkers because it's like it is a wild animal. It's trying to buck the goblin off his back.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Like,
Yeah.
just having a squig was such a risk to your team in
Yep.
any regards. Like at the moment we got Bonehead, really stupid wild animal.
Yep.
If you rolled a 1 for a squig, any player you had near it was at risk of being eaten.
Yep,
Yeah, no, I do remember that actually. That was
that was hilarious.
very risk/reward gameplay on if you brought one.
Yeah, because the one thing about squigs was the good thing is they had leap and jump because they could jump like far distance. Okay, their agility was a bit questionable, but the fact that it was a strength 4, toughness 8 monstrosity that could just jump and land on someone and give them a good hiding was always fun.
Yeah.
Wait,
No.
what? Hold on. I just went to freaking. Well, this is 2 years ago. I just went to Reddit and it shows like a Hooligan. I can't say it.
Hooligan. Yeah.
And it's Yeah, it shows. It might be the squig. I don't know if it is or not because I was looking for it. It probably isn't. I think it's just a goblin. That's what it looks like because it's 6, 2, 3, 7. Yeah, that's a goblin.
Wait,
Yeah.
what?
Ah!
Squig with strength 2?
No, that's not a squig. That's a type of goblin.
No, Squig is very
Um,
different to a goblin.
Yeah, Squigs.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, but this was
I
going
just
back.
now started looking at it because
Yeah.
I was wanting to find the stat line.
Yeah.
I didn't realize they had an actual stat line. I'm surprised if it ever did that it
no.
was strength 2 though.
No, I don't think he had a stat line. It was just a monster. It was just out of control.
Yeah, so like I think
Oh, it's just random. Okay.
I think one of the current tabletop, you know, those cards that you pick, like you can pick
Yeah.
2 out of 3 random events
Mhm.
and something else in the tabletop.
Yeah.
One of them is that your squig is your ball is actually a squig,
Yeah.
and it's got a stat line for that, and I'm pretty sure it's strength 3, and you got to fight the ball just to control the damn thing.
Yeah, because Squigs were hilarious, and that's the thing. Like I said, we should bring back these old manic things because they'll be hilarious.
Yeah, they'd be hilarious, but then it depends on how Cyanide want to go with Blood Bowl 3. Do they want to try and cash in on the current esports craze, or do they want a fun, random game? It's like between playing Blood Bowl 2 and Tabletop. In Tabletop, I already hate random cards that you can draw.
Yeah, I
Wait,
don't think Science gonna go that route. I think they'll just stick to what they know because they'll keep the same mechanics they've had. All they'll do is they'll just update some of the kickoff rules, some of the wizard rules.
Yeah, so I think they'll keep it a lot random, but I think they are probably going to go a little esports orientated, and a little bit more skill,
Yeah,
less random.
yeah, but I think they'll keep the random because a lot of people have said that's what Blood Bowl's main charm is. It's the random mayhem that could happen.
Oh, 100% they're going to keep quite a large degree of it, but compared to current tabletop with those cards, I think it's still going to be less than current tabletop.
Yeah, because
Probably about equal to what we have in Blood Bowl 2.
yeah, I believe so. So we'll move on, gentlemen. Is the campaign? What do you think they should do to the campaign? Because this is something I think a lot of people have said. Blood Bowl 2's campaign,
A lot of people have said the AI is atrocious,
yeah,
which it is.
but
Like, some AIs aren't even fully programmed, so I know against goblins and Kislev, in certain situations, the AI won't know what to do and will just skip its turn.
yeah,
That
Yeah, I
should
actually had
not
that happen
be.
to me.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
should not be a thing in a completed product, which is what Blood Bowl 2 should be right now.
Yes,
but
definitely.
you got to give Blood Bowl 2's campaign a little credit. It was designed to be a tutorial campaign for people who've just started the game to give an idea how the game is played. Now,
Agreed.
I agree, but I think it teaches you wrong.
it does teach you wrong because, like I said in my Let's Play Blood Bowl 2 campaign video, I've stated that half these things should not be happening.
Exactly. So that is actually on my to-do list for my channel is Blood Bowl 2 campaign and even that Eternal League that they've added with one of the DLCs.
Yeah, I mean, I've done that. I'm doing that right now, the Eternal League, and I've also done the Blood Bowl 2 campaign on my channel. And I'll be honest though, what they need to do with the Blood Bowl campaign, right? And I'm gonna be honest, they need to put more races for their own campaigns, because that would be brilliant.
Yes,
Yeah, more
definitely.
races.
If
And-
anything, at least 3 different playable races in the campaign. Like, say for example, I know y'all all played a game where it has like 3 different storylines to play the game. So that would be pretty interesting where you play all the races. They all have different outcomes if you win or lose or whatnot, and different endings could happen at the same time on who
Yeah.
wins the finals.
So if you go in campaign at the moment, it should be 100% humans, orcs,
Yeah,
and I'd probably say an agility team. I want to say chaos because I like chaos, but it should probably be one of the elf teams.
yeah.
My
It's,
personal opinion, definitely humans.
Yeah.
I would definitely say either orcs or chaos as the evil faction. My particular taste is chaos because it's my favorite race and bias. Shut up.
Yeah, my bias is
And something completely random that's really hard to play. It'll be the hard mode. Something like goblins or halflings that actually
Okay,
comes in
Dave.
and wins.
yeah, one of the three stunty teams, maybe one of the joke teams, which is stunty plus Kamari.
Yeah,
Personally, I'll pick either halflings or goblins, but goblins, yeah.
yeah. It would.
Yeah, we
it-
know you love Goblin Squad.
I would. I wouldn't mind that, to be honest. And I'll be honest, right? The visuals for the campaign with Jim and Bob was good, and that was one of the redeeming qualities. But
I like that. That wasn't bad.
yeah, and I think they should keep that little aspect, but have the free like storylines, like you said, and that would make it a lot better because a lot of people would love to say, right, or have a fourth storyline that says, right, you choose which race you want, and you follow the set linear path.
Yeah, which I think is what they were kind of trying to do with the Eternal League.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to be honest, the Eternal League to me is, I'm gonna be honest, a great idea, but I feel it's just too bland.
It is. You're
Cool.
fighting nothing but AIs.
Yeah,
And if you're a good player, those AIs are
I know.
garbage to you. You stomp on them. You get high TV. They get halfling shield. They take all your rerolls. You still stomp on them because you're just
yeah.
the
Currently,
AI.
Eternal League to me feels like you're doing an easy level team that can then enter into the open league of Cabal Vision. You know, you've leveled your team against
Yep.
the AI, there's been damn near zero resistance,
Yep.
and that's all it feels like.
Yes.
It's repetitive to more veteranized players. They need to upgrade the AI in the campaign or whatever single player you got.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
some thread I read on the Reddit about a week ago is people actually developing their own AI and then putting all those AI in a tournament together to see who's developed the best. Cyanide should really be looking at those AI because they are so much better than theirs. Not to bash on Cyanide, but you know, when random Joe in his basement is making a better AI than your developers, there's a problem.
Damn, Joe, you should be saying Power Joe. Don't be talking about Power Joe like that.
Well, he is a cutlass wielding lunatic, but we'll leave that to another day. But but I agree. Science needs to look at these people and say, look, we can prove better AIs than your devs. Let us have the put these AIs in, and I do believe that's what they need to do. Cyanide, they need to start, asking the
They need
community.
to start hiring these third parties. Like, my main game is League of Legends. Riot Games, like, if someone makes, when people have made that camera mod, when they made those Death Recap mods, any mod that has actually beat Riot have hired the guy.
Yeah,
to
but
help them.
yeah, but Riot Games is in a bit of a pickle at the moment due to some, shall we say, unsavory practices.
Yeah, I know they've had a bit of controversy at the moment, but they are still, in my opinion, the best developer. Because, like, I've played League of Legends for, like, 8 years. I've never felt I need to put the money towards that game. So they must be doing a good job. Ignoring the $3,000 I put in.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yep.
I've never felt I needed to, which is what, in my opinion, in this day and age with the microtransactions and stuff, I think that makes a good game. When you don't feel you have to, but you want to.
Free to play, I will agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we also got to look at the point as well is with another game from Cyanide that's coming out as well, Necromunda.
Okay, I've actually got a sealed box of that I keep meaning to open and have a look at.
I've actually got one. I've actually got the seal box.
Yeah, I know it's old as hell and probably with a bunch, but I just want to open it for a bit of Games Workshop history.
Yep. But the thing is though, right, with Necromunda also coming out as well, I know we're swerving a little bit here, but I think we can safely assume that Focus Entertainment, right, who's the big umbrella for these GW games, right, the specialist games, right?
Specialist games are in a weird point at the moment.
Yeah.
Because they make their stock so far behind they can't guess the demand. So they are a little bit lacking, which creates more demand.
Yeah, but if you look at look no further than Gothic 2 and Mordheim, they've actually both did well when they first came out. So I'm
Exactly.
I'm pretty confident that Cyanide will make a good Blood Bowl 3. I just hope they just
It
implement this
depends how they
shit.
treat it.
Oh,
Like,
I think they'll treat it well because, like I said, Blood Bowl 1 got a lot of great reception. Blood Bowl 2, a lot of people loved it
yeah,
because it was updated properly.
Mhm.
I believe that number 3 will be the same. I think it'll get the proper treatment, but
I don't
I
know, because like I've done a bit of research into how Games Workshop do the specialist games and their failures.
mhm.
So, biggest failure for Games Workshop specialist is Dreadfleet. They
Oh
absolutely
yeah.
expect,
Oh
yeah,
yes,
they
I remember
absolutely
that.
expect, they expected it to sell so much better than it did, and I think ever since then they've decided what they the quantity of stock they're making for a quote unquote specialist game, and have only ever done that. So I think even if Blood Bowl 3 is an absolute hit on tabletop,
Yeah.
I'm not sure they can support it right because I think their next annual quota of production is already going to be filled.
Mm.
And that's my other fear about Blood Bowl 2020 is they might allocate a set amount of resources to it, and it's going to create artificial demand because Games Workshop didn't expect it,
Mm.
and it will
I can
then
see
lack.
that.
Yeah, and then it'll then lack in its actual quality
I
and like third party scenes, like the tournament scenes,
well,
just because people can't buy it.
I'll be honest. I don't think that'll be the case because you have to remember Blood Bowl is one of the most safest of the specialist like branch.
Absolutely. In
S
the last decade, it's their best specialist game,
Yep.
but it is still a specialist game. And I'm just going off their recent history.
Hmm.
They're not doing specialist games very well.
Well, I would say Necromunda was a hit. Blackstone was a hit.
I don't even know what Black Storm is, I'll be honest.
It's basically you lead a party into a Blackstone fortress and try and destroy it.
Oh, like a Warhammer roleplay? Or whatever
S-
it's called? Basically, Warhammer D&D.
Yes, but like that, but it's actually a tabletop version.
Okay.
And I've actually played the game, and it's actually pretty good. So I don't think GW will probably support this game. Actually, no, sorry, GW doesn't support the game anymore. It's
And yeah,
it's
that's what I was saying is
yeah, yes, I remember now
GW tend to...
because the ones who are
Sorry.
supporting at the moment is Forge World.
Yeah, and again, going back to my experience with Warhammer 7th and 8th edition, like if you're a Chaos Dwarf player during those years, Forge World was your godsend because they're the only support you got. Anyone who didn't count Forge World as official left the Chaos Dwarf players
In the code.
in a ditch.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
if you're a Dogs of War player, even Forge World left you behind.
yeah. But thankfully, the Dogs of War have made their semi-return
What, an Age of Sigmar or more
in
recently than I'm aware of?
in Age of Sigmar. They were allowed because they were classed as free humans.
Okay.
Because that was like with the Empire, where they're the free humans.
Oh, so they've added a bit of Dogs of War to what was the Empire.
Yeah,
Okay, I wasn't aware of that, I'll be honest.
I think that's what they've done. I'm not 100% mind you because I haven't seen anyone use Empire in Age of Sigmar. I've just seen people use just mostly Sigmarines and freaking orcs, and that's it.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's what
oh,
I mean. I
and the Daughters of
out
Cain
and
as well.
I just out hate Sigmarines because they are Space Marines in fantasy.
No argument.
So I'm gonna
You get
I'm
you
gonna keep
you
all my
you hear no argument
sorry,
from
Trent.
me.
Yeah. So
But
I'll keep all my Age of Sigmar stuff reserved because I know I'm biased against it because it's killed the game and hobby I loved.
well, you can blame the previous administration before the new one took over.
Yeah.
But we have to look at the Blood Bowl though. In 2020, we all know that it needed to overhaul the rules because, to be honest, yeah, some of the rules are old and they are kind of bit outdated.
but even then, you look at the success of the third-party Ninth Age. I wouldn't say it's that bad. Like, yeah, 40k always stomped fantasy, but I think that's just more the generation we live in. Like, people want the guns more. You know, they're much more sci-fi than medieval. So that and actually Games Workshop prices. So to make a skirmish army of 40k was always like 90% cheaper than making a Warhammer fantasy army, especially if you played Orcs and Goblins or Skaven. Whereas I think like the largest, like my final, before they killed it, my final army was Ogres. You know, I needed to rock up to 40 models. If you're a Skaven player in 8th edition, you needed about 2,000 models. With slaves costing half a point. And that I think was the biggest killer. Is just the extreme cost for those half-point units.
Well,
that's the good thing about Blood Bowl, though. You don't have to worry about
exactly
like so many models because they all come in a kit that's way cheaper than just one squad of people.
Exactly. Yeah. So in Blood Bowl, you're always between 11 and 16 models.
Yep.
But even that, so I don't play dwarves, but my dad is, and he's bought a dwarf kit. Brilliant.
Yep.
He's got a team. But if he wants to full his full positionals, he needs between 2 and 3 kits. Which I still think is going to hurt the Blood Bowl tabletop.
No, I think, well, thankfully Forge World is now releasing like singular groups. Like if you want specific players.
Blood Bowl provides a lot of the big guys. It's like there isn't a Games Workshop provided Death Roller, but there is a Forge World one. Yeah. Even then, it's 30 quid if I remember correctly.
I think it's 20 quid.
Okay, but still, you can buy a team of 11 players, a starter team. Again, not including all positionals. Or your one big guy.
True, but I would say, I mean, if you're paying like 40 quid just for a proper team, I would say that's a decent deal because of the fact that, you know, it depends how you want to make the team because, like you said, dwarves
I
don't have...
agree with you, you know, your 20 quid starter, your 20 quid big guy. But, so for so many of the teams, that doesn't include all positionals, which I think is a further detriment to Blood Bowl tabletop. So I can't remember from my head exactly what the Blood Bowl dwarf team includes.
It includes 2 Troll Slayers, Runners, Blitzers, and 6 Linemen.
Yeah, but can't dwarf have extra Slayers and Blitzers?
No, they can only have 2 each.
No.
Yep. So I know at the moment
they can have the Death Roller, which they don't have in the base
so
set.
you go Forge World for that. That I get.
Yep, and also
I know.
But also
carry on.
Yep, and also I mean, okay, if you need more dwarves, you have to get either another kit or get them individually. But to be honest, I think the only teams that suffer this problem are like ones who have like 4 or more like specific players, like the Orcs, Chaos.
Yeah, so I'm using my like 1980s Orc team, so I've got all the positionals. But I know if I was to completely use newer models, I need to buy like 2 starter kits, which is rather expensive.
Yep. I remember the old Orc rules. When in the old Orc rules, like you could have a fanatic in your team, which was freaking hilarious.
I miss those.
Yeah, I would. Like I said, I mean, it's never gonna come back because the goblins have got that locked down. But I do believe that we will see, like I said, we're going to see new players because if the Halflings are going to indicate anything, it's saying, oh, we are redoing some of these teams to make them viable. I mean, look at Halflings. I mean, they've got now a thrower and a catcher, which is like, why? But okay, fair enough. You've got some ways to pass the ball.
Yeah. Don't they also have some sort of star player or fan favorite? I think they call it.
Yeah, they have a star player, which is the guy who's riding a goat.
Yeah. So,
something that's a little bit off track of what we're talking about right now. I'm looking at the set for the undead right now, and the mummies look freaking awesome. They don't look like a regular freaking
mummies used to be a lot better because I don't think they had decay before either. I think that was like a straight nerf for that team.
Yeah,
This is the brand new set, I believe.
yeah.
Okay.
They've
Brand new set actually looks like freaking huge linemen,
yeah,
I think
I,
I've got one of
football
them
players.
actually.
yeah. I mean, that's the thing about the new kits because they've given you a pretty decent starter team with like the undead. They've got like 2 mummies, 2 rights, 2 ghouls, and the rest are just zombos, and that's it.
Combos and skeletons.
Oh yeah, skeletons. They can have skeletons and zombies as well, so they have like a mix. It's the necromancers who only can have zombos because for obvious reasons.
Hmm.
And you know what I would love to see continue in Blood Bowl 3? The funny fluff. I
No.
always love the fluff.
Again, that's
Wait, what is that?
that's what I'm thinking. I think because esports is now such a big thing in our society, like you look at Dota, CS:GO, League of Legends, I think fluff is actually going to become less of a thing, and I think they are going to go for a much more balanced.
Oh, I know what you mean now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
So yeah, I love the fluff aspects, especially of those
I think
stunty/joke teams. But I think
I,
that'll be less.
I think they'll still keep them in. It's just they'll do it in a way where it's not too detrimental.
As
But
long as they have goblins, I'm okay.
Yeah, they'd be a goblin team, but
there's already
Right.
goblin there's already a goblin kit now.
exactly. So they're not going to
Yeah.
get rid of goblin teams.
Oh
And they
no.
have halflings too, so.
They might make it a bit more even,
Mm.
for lack of a better word,
Well,
than all the other teams.
well, I mean, I've heard this on the grapevine for the tabletop version that they are adding brand new teams. What they are, I don't know yet. Like I said, that's still up in the air.
Yeah.
But mean-
Oh man, we gotta talk about teams before it's over with.
oh yes, we will get to teams. But I think we should move on back to the topics at hand. And the next one we're going to talk about is the dice mechanic. That's been a big talking point about Blood Bowl 2. I've been hearing.
Yeah. Blood Bowl 2 does its random very, very poorly. So the amount of times I get 4 scores in a row in Blood Bowl 2 compared to tabletop is unreal.
Yeah, and I agree. I mean, that's something I think they need to look at again. The dice mechanics. They need to kind of, how can I put it? They need to look at it a bit more thoroughly, but not tweak it too much.
I'd say tweak it a lot. So I've been talking to a friend recently about how a computer generates RNG. And
Mhm.
a computer can never ever be true random. And like I accept that.
Yep.
But Blood Bowl just seems so skewed that damn near every game I notice the fact that is lacking in that true random compared to a tabletop dice.
Hmm. True, but I do believe that I think Sai will look at this and they'll look at ways to making it work. But we'll have to wait and see when we get the first. I think we will get the first gameplay footage in the next few months.
I'd say
I hope so, because I heard that's
December?
be coming out in 2020.
Yeah, I'd say December we
Yeah.
get it, and then a summer release based on that leak.
I mean,
Yeah, so we'll be getting it sometime later this year or early next year. Have to, because it's gonna be coming out in 2020.
you know,
Exactly.
I would. You know what they should do, and I'm gonna be honest. And if anyone knows anyone employing Sai, and I'm begging you guys, please release a beta so we can actually try it, see what it's like.
Yeah, that
Yes.
would be nice.
Oh my gosh, with these type of games, they could be so buggy for these roles.
Yeah.
So buggy with these animations. You got so
Yeah,
many
even
things you gotta
looking at
worry
your-
about. So yeah, you gotta worry about your beta testing. So we can test your game. You let us play it. We test your game. You get some free beta tests, or you get some free testers by letting people play it.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
good for everyone.
like look at your top hours played on Steam for Bubble 2, or even look at your most popular Twitch users and YouTube users, the people promoting your game.
Yep.
Even if you only open it for them,
Yep.
just open it to someone before you release the game, please,
Yeah.
Cyanide.
Yep. Or hell,
Indeed.
Sinai, if you're watching this video, we'll do it.
Yeah,
Just
that's a,
Yep.
Heck yeah, we'll do an entire league of it.
Yeah.
I'd love that.
yeah, that's something I also want to talk about as well. That's something I was going to bring up actually, the leagues. Now, I would like to see the leagues have a little tweak, and that tweak is
Yeah,
changing like how you want to set up a league, right? Because at the moment, it's just like,
Listen,
Definitely.
I haven't done that yet, but I'd say even the tiebreakers, like, there's nothing in game that tiebreaker is.
Have overtime and the
Yeah, no,
Uh,
that's for like
like
playoff.
ladder matches.
That's for playoffs. But like me and Glad were actually talking about this after our game last week.
hmm
So like, if I win and one of the other two lose, then we're equal score.
yeah.
What decides who's winning is never ever explained in game.
I agree. I think
I
there
think
should
it
be.
is. I think it's just hidden. If I remember correctly, it could be touchdowns or like a
Touchdowns
certain
or
stat.
casualties.
Yeah,
Touchdowns,
it's a certain
casualties,
stat that
tabletop.
defines it.
Yeah. So
Mm.
touchdowns for casualties, what does it in tabletop? If that is what's done in Blood Bowl 2, is never explained in Blood Bowl 2.
You know,
You don't
and
ever say it clearly, but hosting a league, I know that's what happens.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Should it be that limited on the knowledge?
but what
Well, it
about
shouldn't. I mean, if you make a league, you should definitely know that immediately.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
if you enter a league, you should also be informed, which it doesn't.
and I think what we need as well is to have like rule makings for leagues. Like let's put for example here in Bubble One, you could put a set rule of what was the requirement for a league.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's been that many years, I can't remember.
Yeah.
Oh
I'm afraid.
man.
Yeah,
You know
like-
something else that. Oh,
Like if you
I
wanted
want
to,
to make your. I want to be able to make my own team.
Well, like a custom team.
Kind of, sort of, not with the mixed teams, but like I want to. Like, say for example, they don't have a race that's available. Okay.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah,
They
if
don't
you
have the
mean,
time or
like-
resources to make it. Why don't you give us the power to make it?
Yeah, especially if Cyanide don't include the teams like the Slan, the Zinch.
yeah,
If you're not
Exactly.
going to provide us that as an official team, at least allow homebrew teams to be a thing.
true. But I would say, to be honest, I would like to see more like stunty leagues and Pacific, like no big guy leagues. So the leagues like them where you put like a condition in and people can join. Because
Yeah.
sometimes
Right.
Oh
like
yeah, I
moment.
understand what you mean.
yeah
At the moment, it's just sort of a pre-agreed before you turn up on the day or before you
Yeah.
offer a ticket.
I will definitely agree with that. If you want to make it an all mixed team, like for example for Bubble 2, you can. If you have it for big guys or stunty teams only, yeah, I agree. Or all elves, whatever.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
at the moment, so I'm feeling new to a mixed team league. There was
Yeah.
nothing in game actually stopping me from just going orcs.
yeah
You know, I didn't even
Well,
need to pick
definitely
the
not.
orc. Didn't even need to pick the mixed teams that include orcs. I could just go anything and pick orcs.
yeah, and that's what we need. We need something like that for the league, saying, look, if I was making a league, right, a stunty league, I'll say, right, the rules is that must be having the stunty key rule, like something like that. Then that way it makes the leagues more preferable and people can understand what they want instead of like relying on people to do it fairly. Because
Yeah,
that's- 'cause
that's
that's-
what I mean.
Yeah.
It's just too much. I don't want to say too much honesty involved because that makes humanity look crap. But
Oh, well, humanity's already crap, so
yeah, you could add those restrictions in game. So if you were doing it with random people, they couldn't just join with whatever team they wanted.
yeah.
You know, it'd be you cannot join this league without
Follow-
set criteria for your team.
Yes, agreed.
Mhm.
There should be a set rule and criteria, and I do believe that will come. But I'm hoping it does come in Bubble 3. If not, we might see it in later down the line in a Legendary Edition, because we both know. So we all know there's going to be a Legendary Edition. We all know that.
Yeah, that's the edition I always buy. 'cause
They've been
it's
doing it for the past 2 games. They are under a different what you want to call a publisher, so that might change. They might actually release an entire full game.
Yeah, I thought they were still cyanide.
Next, they might. Nope. Well, Sinai is the developer,
Yeah.
not publisher.
Oh, okay.
Yep. I think wasn't Focus
Wait, I
Entertainment.
might be wrong.
I think Focus Entertainment still owns them. I think they're still under their umbrella. But
Oh, it's under Big Ben. That remember?
oh, I think so. I can't remember to be honest, but
No,
But-
me. I bought Blood Bowl 2 like the moment it released. But
same
I
here.
know full well it was lacking the teams. The teams, like not as many as I hoped, but the teams are coming. So
Yeah.
that's where I took my break. I bought the Legendary Edition, waited for a few more teams to come out because no one wants to play with only like 6 or 8 teams. You
Yeah,
want your favorite team to be in the game.
yeah,
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. If they actually make the game, put all the races that's available in either 1 or 2, like base players, or actually that you could buy online as an actual regular
Yeah,
model.
but
At
yeah.
least have them in
100%
there.
be available on release though, because as I just said, I took like a 2-year break just because my teams weren't there, so I was waiting for them all to
Exactly.
come out.
Yep. And I'm just gonna message
You-
Pirate Joe saying he terrible time and he's missed the podcast.
Oh man.
Sorry, Pirate Joe. But yeah. to the to the next point though, I think we all gotta look at the teams now. Let's look at these guys, right? As you all
Uh-huh.
know, they've all had model updates. All of them have, right?
Yeah, they've all been brand new models for Blood Bowl 2, which was nice, but I
Yeah.
still think they could have done more.
Well, the thing is though, with the tabletop models all being updated now, I mean, the orcs look bigger, the humans look more regal, and the who else has been mucking about? Oh, someone's just joined
Yeah,
in.
so I only say better though. That's the problem. Like as an orc player and an orc main in Blood Bowl 2
Yeah.
and as an orc player in tabletop,
Mhm.
I wouldn't say the new or 2016 Blood Bowl model looks better than the originals.
Mm.
So I played a game in tabletop against a guy last week,
Yeah.
and he couldn't tell what was a lineman, a blitzer, and a black orc. So I
Yeah.
think they could still, like, especially in orc instances,
Yep. And I've just
make them look better or
yeah.
different.
And we've got a little shadow sneaker in our little podcast, haven't we, Mr. Joe? I know you're there. I know you're hiding
Yeah,
in
he's
there.
coming and listening.
Yeah. Yep. I think he's just realised we've spotted him.
Ah.
Yeah. Ow. But yes, I do believe that we will need to see the team's models change a lot. I think we will see the model changes a lot because with the new models in the tabletop, I do believe that that's a given with new model
Love
changes.
the Beastman models.
Yeah,
They're great
but
looking.
I said tabletop. I don't think look different enough. At least in the teams I play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, once you go Goblin team, yeah, 100.
Wow.
But you look at the elf models,
Yeah.
so it's still a little too more.
Mm. I do believe they'll change them once they get the new models because and it sounds like poor Pyro Joe's trying to get in the stream, but he's having mic problems by the sounds of it.
That's what it does sound like.
I was gonna say what the hell's that background noise, but okay, that's pirate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. For those who are not aware who this gentleman is who's trying to hijack this podcast, this is Pirate Joe, the crazy wielding pirate cutlet speaking Russian lunatic.
In German.
Yeah,
I was gonna say you're Russian too.
Hello?
hello,
Working now.
yep, hello, Pirate Joe.
Hey!
Welcome to
If you're
the.
wondering
Joe.
about the low quality, it's because I'm using a tablet because I don't have access to a computer right
Wow, I think he's.
No.
You decided to have this while I was on a bloody walk.
Well, to be fair, I did give you a message and I got no response. So,
Yeah, right. Yeah, you sent me a message right after I left.
That's
oops.
your fault.
How is it my fault that he sent the message right after I left?
Ah, it's Random's fault.
Excuse-
Blame that fault.
Excuse me for
No.
trying to remain.
Yep.
Excuse me for trying to go and keep myself in shape.
How does
No.
that these days?
Yeah, but
Use that
to-
these
yeah,
days.
but so we'll let Pirate Joe have his thoughts because we're talking about Blood Bowl 3. Joe, what do you think about new mechanics, new teams, a new campaign system, and new models? What do you think?
I've not actually seen the new report of, I guess, the update that they've released with what I mean is I haven't actually seen the oh, this is what's going to be in the video game version of the new Blood Bowl 3. I
Yep.
haven't actually seen what they've said I'm
Well,
going to presume one of the teams they've announced is Slanesh.
no,
Off
they
on
have
a limb.
no, they haven't announced any new teams yet. They haven't announced anything yet.
Oh.
We're just speculating what's likely to come. So, what's your thoughts?
I'm going.
Yeah.
Here's
It's
my
been a
thought.
leak
What's
so far.
probably going to happen is I wouldn't be surprised if they brought back the corn team because Frenzy Fest is fun, and I also wouldn't be surprised if they actually added a Slanesh team, considering in the files of Blood Bowl 2, it was found the very interesting little, how should I put it, team emblems that are very Slaneshi and
Ooh,
also
I
have Slanesh like right
didn't
under
know
them.
about that.
I
Hmm.
can actually
So,
send it to you. I think I sent it to Black Templar one.
yeah, if you don't mind sending it, because that was one of the points we discussed early on in this podcast, was me wanting all 4/5, if you can't avoid it, but all of the Chaos Gods represented.
I don't
Mhm.
think they're gonna have Zinch. I
I'd
think
hope they are
that would
each.
be it would be cool, but I don't know.
Again, you can't represent but the 5. Again, counting undivided.
Mm.
I will say though, if they do add a Slanesh team, which I kind of expect them to do, I expect a lot of claw, lots and lots and lots of claw.
Oh yeah, you look
Yeah.
at again going back to the 8th edition models potentially earlier. You look at the Chaos Spawn and what were the Chaos mutated warriors called?
Oh, mutants. That's all they were
Uh,
called. They were just called mutants.
They were just called mutants. Okay, yeah, you look at those. So many of those models had claw. So
Yeah.
in a
And
sculpting purpose, it'd be quite easy to modify that and release that as a new Blood Bowl player.
I mean, if
So
you,
yeah, I can see that becoming a thing.
I mean, if we look at the four Chaos Gods, if they're going to be in, we know Korn is all going to be a bashy because that's what they do.
Exactly. They don't do magic.
And they already had it in Blood Bowl 1, so gonna be Juggernaut everywhere.
Yep.
I'm looking for
Yes,
the
please.
thing that I was referring to. I can send it to you in a second if I actually find the bloody thing. I know
Yeah.
I sent it to one of you. I know that for a fact.
I think you sent it to probably Glad because I know I haven't had it.
No, I don't have anything.
So none of us, but yeah, if you check in
No,
the chat, maybe
it
Black
was
can.
copper. I found it. All right. This is the interesting thing. I'm going to send it to you, Black Templar. Feel free to just look at it.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't got me Discord on. I've been Let's have a look. Right.
So I've got our Discord open, so if you want to put it there so we can all
Oh.
have a read and discuss.
Oh, you're right. There
I'll
is.
send it
Maybe
to
Black
both.
link it.
Yeah.
I'll
I
send
see.
it to both of you.
I've
Cool.
I actually see it, and it's Slanesh ones. So this was in the game files.
In the second game, I
Yeah.
presume they were going to do it before they ended up, getting yoinked by a different publisher. Was it?
Well, let's have a look, cause I'll
Yeah.
put.
Big Ben.
Yep. So let's have a look, cause it's in. Because I think we best show this to the audience what we're talking about here. I mean, as you can see there, I mean, you're right. I mean, there is a few Slaneshi logos. There was quite a few of them actually.
There was also corn ones too.
Yeah.
Funnily
Why?
enough, you can also see that they kind of potentially forgot about a particular Skaven one.
Yeah. Oh
So
yeah.
I haven't seen that Skaven one.
Yeah. There's a
Ever.
corn one. So basically, they were going to be in the game, but they just didn't do it. Didn't pull the trigger.
I'm going to presume that the reason why is because of the fact that they were planning on adding those two as like some kind of like chaos pack, like kind of like a chaos edition, like they did with the original.
Well,
Yeah, because the
I
original
could see
being
that.
having
Yeah.
3 different versions, like standard, chaos, and legend.
yeah. I think that could be the thing they might do in Blood Bowl 2020. They might say, right, people have one of these demon teams. Let's pull the trigger and bring them out.
Yeah, that'd be
I
great.
don't know. I'd rather it not. I'd rather you can buy the game or you can buy the game with all DLC. That's
I think
a
that
much simpler option.
Hey,
for-
if they put everything in the game at launch, you do not need to complain.
Oh no, if it's at launch, then brilliant. But
well,
I
well
highly
don't-
doubt they're going to put
I-
everything in launch. I mean, kind of like what happened with Blood Bowl 2, but who knows?
yeah, like I don't dislike what they did with Blood Bowl 2. Yeah, it'd be brilliant if you just buy the base game and have for every team, and then everything else is cosmetic.
You
But
know what
I
actually is
have
kind
been
of
doing
funny? The one thing I really want out of Blood Bowl, like the new Blood Bowl, is kind of just a funny little cosmetic thing. It's just I want more
Yeah.
customization, essentially, more than just you have this head, you have this head, you have this
Well,
head.
well, funny,
It would
Yeah.
also,
well,
I
funny.
mean, like for example, when I raise an undead player, like for example, let's say I'm playing as an undead team or a necromantic team or whatever. I say, for example, oh, I end up killing this Amazon. I don't want just this random zombie that looks like any other zombie. I want the zombie
Yeah,
to
you
look
want
like
an
an actual
Amazon
Amazon,
looking.
or for
That
Agreed.
example,
would be nice
or
as
for
hell.
Yeah.
example, or for example, oh, you've killed an orc. It now looks like an undead orc. Or oh, you've killed a insert whatever the hell here, like a Saurus. Like for example, what happened in this league with Black Templar, I believe. Then it
But
would
even
actually
then,
Yep.
even it
Saurus.
looking like a Saurus would be nice as hell compared to what we currently got of it's just another zombie.
Yeah, and
I know,
the
because like
Agreed.
it would be nice. It also could mean that you could actually have some interesting things. Like for example, uh, you could actually have different kind of teams that are well. I mean, obviously, for example, some teams would obviously be locked as they are, but you could actually have
Yeah.
having more customization options means you could have more kind. It would be better from like a literary standpoint because essentially with Blood Bowl, it's like any other games workshop game. There's going to be people who write down logs of like pretty much massive kinds of reports about the story of this team or this
Yeah.
battle or
Like you
whatever.
look at probably any of our
And
YouTubers in this chat, and it is you can follow the full journey of that team
yeah,
through
like
its entirety.
and I mean it would kind of be cool because it means that like you'd actually be able to get more kind of customization options with well everything. For example, with human teams, they wouldn't just constantly look like this. You could have, for example, uh, like you could have like an option. I just kind of want more like customization. Just so, for example, you could choose like gender, and then you can choose the like
Or
hair and
even for humans,
facial and all
you could
that. Just
go. Yeah, for humans, you go region. Like it is the Empire, it is Betonia. If they're not a separate team, you can pick Albion, Kislev again. If it's not a separate team, there's so many regions of the Empire that you can have so many different looks to it. Same with Orcs, Chaos.
I mean, it would be because I think it would be pretty cool if, for example, you're playing as a vampire team and you actually have like all these vampires looking more like actual like a proper noble family, like a von Kars, like the von Kars teams, instead of just
Exactly.
oh, it's just this oh, you just have bald vampire, you have red-haired vampire, you have kind of stereotypical looking Vlad-like vampire, you have rockstar vampire, you have other rockstar vampire.
Yeah, so one of the things we discussed earlier was like those sort of customizations options, but then with full chroma with at least 3 pickable colors. So like full chroma on your main color, full chroma on your accent, and then full color on your trim. Even that would be a nice customization option considered
Honestly,
compared
to
to
be
what we
honest,
have.
I just honestly even just having like kind of like with certain teams, just having an option to say, oh, this character is male or female, or and also you can
That would be
change the
nice too.
hair color. Just adding that to like a few teams, to the teams that like have human-ish characters like vampires or necromantic or that kind of stuff.
But even
That
then,
would
doesn't
be
need to be
amazing.
humanish. So
Well, I mean, yeah, obviously with the
I
hair
don't
color
think
thing,
anyone
that
wants to
makes
see
sense.
a female goblin or orc.
I don't know.
I
So
don't think
I
so.
recently
well,
recently
unfortunately,
discovered Clown a Troll by Miracle of Sound.
I
And
don't.
now I really want a female troll.
well, the
I'm
pro-
just gonna say this. I don't think that's not what I meant. I meant like it would be limited to certain teams,
yeah, and
not like like specifically the humanish teams,
well,
excluding like say Amazons or something, since
Un-
Amazons
Female
are
boss
Amazons.
hunter.
yeah.
You know.
Unfortunately,
Oh,
Glad in the current Warhammer universe, the orcs goblins have no gender. They're genderless. So
Hey, I'm looking at Blood Bowl here.
I will say
Don't we
that
have female cheerleaders?
I was gonna
We
say
sure do.
the original
Yeah.
Blood Bowl. They did actually was a time when orcs were both male and female, so they actually had female cheerleaders.
we,
So that was
we
entertaining.
we were talking about that as well actually earlier. We wanted to add, like the old cheerleaders from each of the team, their own versions, like how the goblins had
Like in the original Blood Bowl.
Yeah.
1, 'cause
Yeah.
That would be
Yeah.
cool.
yeah, like we were also talking about bringing back certain old players as well, like the old Squigs players, which were hilarious.
Yeah, Squigs said the Slan team in its entirety.
Yep.
Slan is a bit ridiculous. I'd rather
Mine's
Yeah.
just
Kislev.
Kislev.
They're silly, but yeah,
I'd
they are
rather have
Kislev.
I'd rather have the Slan than the Kislev because Slan is original. Kislev is just jumpy humans.
Yeah,
Let,
that's what I mean.
us be
Slan
honest.
makes
Let's
sense.
be look. Slan are just. Slan
Frogs.
don't even just why with
Because-
Kislev it makes sense, and also Kislev is one of those nations in blood in like just Warhammer Fantasy that never really got touched upon too much.
Yeah,
Kind
so
of
in
like
Warhammer,
kind of like Nippon or Chantry.
Ooh.
Honestly, one thing that I wish
even
they
Nippon
did instead
had
of,
more expansion than Kislev. Because
Nippon just had like Nippon and Chantry just kind of had they exist.
their No,
here's a few.
they had their assassins, and that's where the Skaven assassins come from.
You know what's really funny?
Oh, didn't know
Total
that they
War Warhammer
actually-
2 actually has fat Slans and no Kislev at all.
Exactly.
It
Just
does-
has the
it
little
actually
freaking
does
banner.
Kislev's been
It actually
ignored
exists.
in Total War 2, or Warhammer Total War 2.
No, but it's
It
just
actually
Empire
exists,
at the
actually.
moment.
Yeah. Whereas
I'm pretty sure
if
they
you
have
go,
like kind of. Whatever.
Mm,
yeah,
Regardless,
just go-
honestly, like
if you
like,
go
to be
for the
perfectly honest-
ages,
to be honest, there's three kind of nations that have never really been touched upon, and it's not Russia, not China, and not Japan. And I want not Russia, not China, and not Japan to actually have more representation, especially not China and not Japan, considering the fact that they literally did nothing with them in the entirety of fantasy.
no.
They're just like, oh, they exist.
Oh, but
Like,
again,
they never
it
made
depends
armies
how.
for them. They never did anything really interesting with them. It was just like, oh, hey, we'll just occasionally mention them in the lore here and there about how they have swords that can cut through anything, that are folded over 1,000 times because, you know, that meme. And,
Yeah.
also they have, like, Tengu and Kitsune and stuff, but we'll never actually implement them into the game. They'll just kind of be
No.
there in the background. And then just
Yeah,
get
so-
invaded by orcs.
I'd
in
really
the
be
end
shit
game.
to make them their own faction, but at least with
Honestly,
which one-
honestly, if there's ever a missed opportunity, I think Games Workshop ever had, it was not actually having Chantry or different armies.
Yeah, so as I said, they did do a little bit with like Skaven Plague Centibears were from Lustria, which is in as Lizardmen, but all of the assassin type stuff from Skaven were from Albion. So yeah, they could have absolutely have expanded on that. And I think they did a little bit with the Dogs of War.
They barely did much with it, which is just
Yeah.
disappointing.
yeah.
So I
But-
know they didn't do much, but they could do some.
Mm.
Which
Unfortunately,
is
they're not going. Unfortunately, the way I see it, they're not going to do anything, considering they just decided to say rocks
Blow up the
fall,
world.
everyone dies with the whole
Yeah.
end times and all that.
Again, you're late to that party. I complained about that off hour.
Then again, I'm pretty sure everyone hates the end game. Well, not end game.
End times. Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
I-
I hate it.
Honestly,
I complained about that.
if there is one thing that I find kind of funny and fitting with the end times, just one thing, and the
What?
only thing I kind of like, but kind of find it sad as well, it's what happened to a particular Slayer King.
Oh,
Just
g-
ends
Oh.
up becoming a god instead of actually dying. Because, you know,
yeah.
With
that
Slayer
Slayer
King was
over
that.
yours, fuck you.
I remember Grimgar beating Archaon. Again, that was just before I got into Warhammer.
Yeah. Oh, that was perfect Shakespeare. Perfect Shakespearean writing.
That's stupid.
Why did they not make it canon? That was hilarious.
That was stupid.
What?
He literally headbutted Archaon, went, "You're not worth my time," and walked off. That was stupid.
But it was hilarious though,
Who
because
did it?
Gringor Einheit.
Hilarious, yeah, but not as a continual story, which is
Yeah.
what I think the original Warhammer universe should have been about.
Yeah, when Gringor Einheit just tiptoes behind the Lord of End Times and savagely kicks him in the groin. That's just
He
hilarious.
didn't even do that. He just fucking headbutts him and walk off. It's even worse.
No, he actually does kick him in the groin because they did the Storm of Chaos book, and it says in the book he tiptoes him, kicks him in the groin, and then headbutts him to high hell.
Oh god, that's even worse than I imagined.
But it was hilarious. I thought that was good. That's the way it should be.
I don't know, because I always really liked the Warhammer.
Honestly, I think
Because
it's,
it was serious.
to be honest, it's not entirely. The whole thing is like with Warhammer. think of like Warhammer 40k for a second. Like, you know what the orcs are there for? They're for a bit of comedy and the whole grim, and to
I
like
don't know.
relieve the grim darkness and all that.
Yeah.
My 40k
Yet they
knowledge is
also, despite
limited.
that, like with fantasy, it's still grimdark essentially. Not as
Yeah,
like you
that's
can
what I
argue not
liked.
as grimdark, or maybe just as grimdark. You can argue about how grim if one is more grimdark than the other. But orcs have always been kind of that. They're there to be a bit of comic relief and also, but still also be a threat.
Yeah.
Like you
Yeah.
can occasionally get a laugh out of them. It's kind of like halflings, but a bit more serious
Again,
because they
in
actually
7th
do stuff.
and 8th, the rules are sort of like that. So,
There's-
like the animosity rule of if every time you move a unit, you have to roll d6. On a 1, they'd sit the squabble in. And for 7th edition, one of my best ever moments was I was playing Chaos, my opponent was playing Orcs and Goblins, and I actually had Archaon, Lord of End Times, charge their left flank, and then they failed Terror, failed Animosity, and their entire army fled in one, which was one of the most comedic moments I've ever had in a tabletop
No.
game,
No.
where
You
my
want
opponent had...
you want comedic, my friend? I'll give you one.
Yeah,
Orcs were in Mordheim, you know, as a test army,
yeah,
and one
they
of the
were.
they had like an animosity table, right? And in it, right, and this is what I read, right? If they rolled a 1, they ended up doing nothing. They end up arguing insults with another orc.
Yeah, which... Alright, maybe if you use a D20 system is fine. On a D6, that's too much.
Yeah, but here's the thing, mate. If you rolled a 1, it did animosity. If you rolled a 1 or 2, they hurl insults. 5 or 6,
Yeah, on a
they
6, they'd go nuts.
yeah, 5 or 6, they charge into the nearest unit and clobber
Yep.
them. On a 6, they go total batshit and they go right. They'll charge the nearest poor sucker they get their paws on and just knock the block off.
Exactly, which I loved in a fluff point of view, but in any sort of competitive aspect, which is turn up both your roll d6, whichever the highest wins.
And I also
So,
love what they said about the argument. Say because 3 and 4 was like because you hear because it says they argue they go run into this guy and they argue and he's saying you called me what you filthy git. It's like
yeah,
that's the thing I think we'll probably see hopefully Blood Bowl 3 some a little bit comedic like shenanigans, but nothing that would affect the game, just like out of like commentary kind of thing.
yeah. Oh, actually, worst point of view, worst opinion on that ever was when 8th was transitioning into Age of Sigmar,
Mhm.
and the official
God.
Games Workshop rules were like if you're a dwarf player, if
Oh,
your beard is
God.
more impressive than your opponent,
Yes.
or the vampire rule, if you speak to your Van Karstein, you get to reroll it to hit. If he speaks back, you get to reroll it to wound.
Do you know-
That was an insult to every Warhammer player ever.
Do you know why they did
What?
that?
Repeat that one with the vampires there.
Go-
So
If
if
they
you
speak-
spoke to your Van Karstein model, you get to reroll your to hit rolls. If he spoke back, you got to reroll your to wound rolls as well.
Why though?
Exactly.
Well, actually,
Age of Sigmar is the biggest kick in the teeth and the bollocks at the same time to every Warhammer player ever.
Did-
And
I-
yes, I like
I
a bit
knew
of
it was-
comedic.
do you know the
To be
reason?
honest, I never actually played like the tabletop stuff for fantasy. I just kind of, when it comes to like Sigmar, it just I basically just read the lore and I absolutely hate the goddamn lore for like
Yeah,
oh
I hate
end
the lore
times,
and the
everything
game.
dies. But like just
That's what I mean. Games Workshop put the biggest kick in the nuts ever with their transition.
Do you know the reason
it's
why?
not even a
Having-
kick in the no, it's a kick in the shins followed by a mocking laugh and then a punch to the face and then grinding your face into the dirt and mud before
Yeah.
it's walking off cackling to itself.
Do you know the
Yeah,
reason?
that's what I mean. So I know Blood Bowl is that comedic version of the universe, which I do quite like. So long as it never gets as stupid as that transition period.
Do you know the reason why they did it? There is a reason, and actually,
Because they hate Games Workshop.
No, no,
fans.
no. There is a
No,
reason
carry
behind this. The reason behind this, and this was actually from a dev. He didn't make the game, but he found out why, and he said because the higher ups were so angry with the people who were playing the game because they were like, well, bitching and arguing about the game, about certain rules,
Yeah,
and they will say, right, you know what?
which
Screw you.
yeah,
They went,
so
like, screw you guys. You're getting this, and we're gonna give you the middle finger to say, you wanted this happening. You're getting it.
exactly.
So
Which,
basically,
all right,
so
yeah, I know
basically,
Games Workshop.
the higher ups just decided, "Fuck you, we're joining chaos."
Yeah, that's what I mean. So I get Games Workshop being angry at their fans for fantasy, but then
Yeah.
the only reason fantasy has lasted the last 20 years is because you had those dedicated people who treated it as a tournament game and would go buy the armies. So
And now whoever talks about fantasy anymore, like outside of,
exactly,
for example, outside of say the Total War Warhammer, whoever talks about fantasy other than like as I said, Total War Warhammer or say Blood Bowl.
exactly.
Answer:
Fantasy
no one.
hated their fans, and the fans hated Games Workshop Fantasy. And it was
what's
bad for both worlds, but now all they've done is made 40k slash fantasy. And
You know what
no one.
I honestly wish they just kind of said, right, yeah, change of management. We realized we done fucked up, so we're gonna do the age-old trick we've done thousands of times before.
Make
Rhymes
40k.
with no, it rhymes with Necron, retcon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, the thing is though, Pirate, this whole thing happened before the actual change of management. This happened before it. So
that's what I mean. That's what makes it worse.
yeah, but with the new guy in charge, he's realized Sigma is needed repair, and I'm gonna be honest, he has fixed the damage, but unfortunately, like he's even admitted himself, I'm never gonna fix the entire problem, but this is the best I can do. So you gotta give him some slack on that at least. The guy who's running it now.
Honestly, they kind of screwed it. They kind of killed it when they decided, right, we're replacing this Chaos God with a rat, a screaming rat.
Well, even that, like, Age of Sigmar completely ignored Slanesh for so long because Games Workshop didn't think the god of sex and lust was child friendly.
Yeah, that.
Technically, three things. One, since when was Warhammer Fantasy or 40k child friendly in the slightest?
Exactly.
Jesus Christ.
It was all about the blood and gore.
Mhm.
It is literally as far from quote unquote. It is even like I mean, if it was something like if they wanted to make it like dumbed down to the levels of Call of Duty, like just no.
Yeah, make a new game. Make Necromunda that one of your specialist games. Don't make
Yeah,
your
pretty much.
second biggest line
Second,
child friendly.
second, if you don't want to focus on that part, focus on the other parts of Slanesh, like for example, artisans or perfection or
Yeah.
beauty
Yeah.
or that kind of stuff. The stuff that's
Yeah.
not stereotypical.
Yeah,
Or
but
Yeah,
hell, even alcoholism and drugs and stuff.
yeah, make an
Hey,
addiction.
do
and
the
there's a
classic
fo-
thing of rock and roll as well, considering the original. And
yeah, there's a
three,
40k.
if you're going to do anything, do not replace it with a discount Nurgle.
Yeah, because doesn't
'Cause that's what
40k have some
That's
sort
what I
of
call that is honestly all I considered the Great Horned Rat. The Great Horned Rat is just discount Nurgle. Just very angry discount Nurgle.
yeah,
at
but
least
at least
to
the
me.
Great Horned
I-
Rat added stuff
Well-
to Skaven lore.
well-
so, in my opinion, Skaven are always followers
mean,
of
yeah,
Nurgle,
yeah.
but unknowing followers.
but the thing is,
the Great Horned Rat and all that, yeah, that makes sense, but that had been lore and they hadn't been a proper Chaos God, and that was fine. They were basically not a proper Chaos God, or you could
Yeah.
argue they were a lesser Chaos God, and that was fine, but replacing one of the big four with what is basically discount Nurgle is just,
yeah,
what the
Nurgle,
hell is wrong with
like,
you?
Nurgle's always my favorite god, to be fair.
well,
You know, that big, I will give him my blessing, but my blessing is
Right.
actually rotten disease.
yeah, but
Personally, I'm more of a fan of Tzeentch and Slanesh.
Well-
Tzeentch
That's
is fun
just
as
me.
well, the good news is Sunedge has come back. They have got new models, so they're back. So that's a good thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I think that's
you
only
get
because
kind
of
of what I'm
Aqua from his
bitching
game.
about.
But anyway,
Yeah.
folks, we are slightly moving away from the main topic of Blood Bowl, and I'm afraid we're gonna have to
Yeah,
wrap
Little
it up.
bit, little bit.
Big time.
Yeah. So
Let me just say this. Wait. I need to say this because I feel it's important. What we have done is we've started on the track of Blood Bowl and then slowly went down the Games Workshop path until we ended up finding ourselves in the middle of the woods in the night and realized we were supposed to go and take a left there and follow the road to get to the
Correction.
town we
It
were
Pretty
was
much.
y'all two that was
What?
talking the entire time. Me and Black had nothing to do with this.
Hey,
Uh,
all that says is me and Pirate are actual Warhammer fans, not GW fans.
Whoa. This is supposed to be a podcast about Blood Bowl. We
I
went
know,
to
I know.
freaking something completely else.
honestly, I blame Difel Eternal. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I blame
He
you
and
too, don't
he
worry.
ended up. He basically started it, and then I just kind of continued it, and so did Black to an extent.
Yeah, but
And then we just essentially we just drove off
Well-
the cliff in terms of
well-
what we were
well-
supposed to be talking about.
Anyway, if
Well-
we want to make a podcast about anti-GW and their decisions, let's do that. But for now, I do agree. Let's
Yeah.
get back to Blood Bowl 2. And
yeah. Let's get back to
Nihon teams, will they add them?
I hope so.
Yeah.
Actually, there is actually someone who mentioned it that they're actually like I'm pretty sure like with the like online Blood Bowl thing with like those custom teams and stuff. Someone actually did make like a Nippon team that had like a like an Oni as the big guy, Samurai as the blitzers,
I have seen that
Ashigaru as the
over.
linemen, and ninjas as the like other guys. And
have-
honestly, I have to say, I kind of like it. I wish.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they're probably never going to add it because who cares about half of the entire damn world? We're just gonna focus on this bit.
Who cares about them?
Not
I don't care.
GW.
Mm.
Games
But-
Workshop, everyone, just forgets half their, just basically misses an entire part of the map and just kind of just leaves
Hey.
it there as fluff and never does anything with it.
Yeah,
Well,
but
their world now belongs to Creative Assembly. So, yeah.
but like I said, we'll get back. We'll do a podcast on that another time. But
Good.
but the thing is, though, we have to look at Blood Bowl in the broader sense with these teams. They do need more teams. They do need more customization. But I do believe if you're going to start off with a new Blood Bowl game, you need the 6 starting teams that you normally would see. But I think they should add 4 more to the starting roster.
Wouldn't go
Honestly,
with-
the thing is, like, a bunch of people, and I kind of agree, think that there shouldn't just be teams, because, that's just,
Yeah.
I mean,
I
personally,
wouldn't-
I like the idea of new teams, and I think there should be a few new teams and stuff. Like, for example, finish off the Chaos Gods, have every one of them have a proper
Yeah, but
team, because
they're not
let's be honest,
new teams. They're actually
But-
really old teams.
Yeah.
there actually was a Slanesh team in Days of Yore.
And a Siege team.
Yes, there was.
Huh.
Do you know there also?
Anyway.
Do you know there's one team I miss as well? I would love to see them bring in the pirate teams.
What,
Yes.
Are you referring to the Dark Elf Corsairs?
Or
Yeah.
Vampire Coast. Obviously,
Yeah.
that's been very fleshed out by Creative Assembly in their Warhammer 2 game.
Is-
And also you had the dwarf pirates, you had the human pirates, you had the elf pirates.
Honestly, I have to say, Dwarf Pirates absolutely terrifying, considering the fact that they have what is essentially World War One era battleships,
And
at the very-
submarines.
or at the very least, at bare minimum, they have essentially pre-dreadnought battleships at the very
Yeah.
least. So I think that essentially, if you go up against them, you're just. Well, let's be honest. When it comes to the Navy, ironically enough, the dwarves rule the waves.
Yeah, and I haven't actually played. Oh, what the hell was that game I mentioned earlier?
Blackwick.
No,
Dreadfleet.
this Hill Dreadfleet. That's it. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
what
Some-
little
Anyway,
do you know about
again, we're
Dreadfleet?
kind of-
Yeah.
Yeah,
but-
we're kind of getting off topic again.
Yeah, let's get
back
back
on
to
topic.
Yep.
Continue.
I'd like to see
something that'll be really cool though.
Yep.
Go ahead, Black. I'll let you start.
I was gonna say I hope one mode I would love to see them bring in is Dungeon Ball.
Again, I've never actually played that. I know the current rules revisions for 2016 are called
I've
Death
also
Bowl.
never played Dungeon Bowl, actually. What exactly is that like?
It's
It's a
basically
weird mix.
it's a weird mix of teams just the basic game of Dungeon Ball is you're part of a wizard guild, one of the 5 wizard guilds, which was the green mage, the grey mage, the blue mage, the gold mage.
Yeah, the 8 colleges of magic.
Yep. And the idea of the game is you got to get the ball in a dungeon and try and get to the touchdown without getting murdered.
Yeah, it's a weird mix of current Blood Bowl and old school D&D, from what I can tell.
Yeah.
Cool. I like the idea of it.
Yeah, but I would love to see that as a separate mode on its own. And say, look, if you're tired of playing on the pitch, here, have this mode to play with.
Yeah,
That actually
so-
would be kind of a nice addition, but I think that would be more of a kind of secondary thing that they don't really focus beyond.
Yeah, but like,
Yeah.
I know there's quite a few third-party versions of the current Blood Bowl tabletops. Like you got Rat Ogre Bowl with is 11 Rat Ogres and it's first to get a
Actually,
touchdown.
I feel like mentioning this. They've released a lot of stuff on, like, say, Halflings with Blood Bowl, with like the new update to Blood Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
I remember they basically said that if the team didn't have only had 2 positionals or so, they'd get more because that would make them interesting.
Yeah, an update to their
I'm genuinely curious what they're going to do with vampires.
yeah, because then they've got the quote-unquote teams of legend, which are the ones that never received real updates. It would be nice to see what they do with vampires and other teams with only 2 positions.
I think if they do something with vampires, they're either going to add special kinds of vampires that are for example, specifically designed for a specific task,
Oh,
or
these are
they're going to
special
just
thralls.
leave vampires. I was gonna say, or they're just gonna leave vampires as they are and just add special thralls.
Yeah, because vampires especially come like 3rd level once they got block and dodge are pretty damn good. So
With vampires, leaving the vampires themselves alone, I think is what they're probably going to do, and instead just
Yeah.
focus on adding more thralls. Like for example, a thrall thrower or a thrall that can actually take a punch and dish one out instead of just basically being a discount.
discount human lineman or
No, they're even worse than human linemen.
yeah.
Yeah. They're just
They
they're
aren't
just
they the same as the slan? Or the
no.
slan?
They're more like just weaker versions, just as goblins.
Alrighty.
They're strength 3, they're not all that weaker. Because
I mean, they're not
thrall?
they're the same
And-
strength. It's just the armor value is.
Yeah, because what are they? 6, 3, 3, 8, if I remember correctly.
I think
Yeah.
they have 7 armor value, not 6. But
7.
could be right.
Yeah. But
So
That's what they
basically,
were
they have the
right.
same kind of armor as, say, Amazons or most of the members of a Norse team.
That's what I mean. Like most Norse are 7, Amazons are 7. I thought thralls were at least a little better than that. But again, I'm
No,
not.
they have 7.
Yep.
I'm not a resident vampire player.
Oh, I've played vampires a few times.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're fun.
Well,
They're
gentlemen,
very fun.
we're gonna have to wrap this up because it will be now for nearly 2 hours.
Oh, wow.
cool.
Yep. So
Does not feel
Well,
that long.
yeah.
Sorry, I didn't really do much here.
Well, you've had you've done a lot of the work early in the day until Joe threw his cutlass around to free out.
Oi, I not be using me cutlass. I'm more of a fan of me flintlock and me wheellock. Personally, I rather the wheellock. It has a special charm to it.
Yeah.
It's quite old as well.
You see what I gotta deal
More
with,
like
guys?
Fanatic just going crazy, spinning in circles.
Yep. But
I think
but
so.
yep. But anyhow, gentlemen, as we're about to wrap up, what's your thoughts? The final thoughts on the Blood Bowl? What you're each hoping to see? One thing you want to see the most in the Blood Bowl 3. Let's hear it out. So to bring it off, Glad. So what thing you want to see in Blood Bowl 3?
What do I want to see?
Yep.
Well, I want to see, of course, new teams. I would like to see. That's the biggest thing I wanted to see is just new teams. Squig team. Change up the chaos. Put in Beastmen. Put in new chaos gods, and yeah, just add more teams. That's the biggest thing I would like to see.
Yep. Joe.
Personally, I could honestly, while I do want new teams, the main thing I want is customization. Yes, just customization. I know it's kind of minor and all that, but it would make it so much nicer, especially considering a few things. The other thing I mainly want is, as I mentioned, like new teams. I hope they just maybe add something ridiculous, and by ridiculous I mean from the bit of Warhammer fantasy that was never touched upon ever, aka the bit known as Chantry and Nihon. That would actually be kind of cool having a team from there. But yeah, I mean I've mentioned that one particular team, the Nihon team. Anyway, other than that, just a lot of customization options and stuff. Because, to be honest, it would make it a lot more to me, it would make the game a lot more, not exactly colorful, but it would make the characters stand out more and seem more unique. And it would also result in people getting a bit more attached to their players, kind of like in, say, something like XCOM, which means you'll have a lot more pixel huggers, as some of the crueler people might call them.
Mm.
And hey, I'm a pixel hugger. I like my pixels.
Yep.
Like killing.
Yep.
Definitely.
And you die.
The funny thing is, when it comes to injuries, I always like whenever I cause an injury on someone, I always want it to either be a badly hurt or a death. It either has to be one extreme or the other.
Yeah, you don't want to sort of cripple them. You want to sort of, all right, this player's now gone, or this player's fine.
Anyhow, Die, what
Yeah.
do you want to see in Blood Bowl 3? So we can wrap this up.
So, in Blood Bowl 3, I want it to be considered a bit more esports. Like, I want either all of the teams or most of the teams on a release. You know, I want to see an actual competitive environment for everyone who has played tabletop Blood Bowl 1 and Blood Bowl 2. You know, if you're a Dark Elf player, I want that to be represented. Even if you're a Khorne player, you know, something that hasn't been in Blood Bowl 2, I want you to have that on release and have a competitive environment that you can participate.
I agree with that too.
Um,
I guess there's one final thing if you're done, and that's Black. What do you want?
I was waiting for that. To be honest, the only thing I want to see in the game is more. I say at least 3 new teams, because we've had these teams for so long. It's time to bring in some like new blood, just to spice up the leagues. Because
Oh, yeah.
I've noticed, and you lot might agree with me on this, but I've noticed a lot more basher teams than actual agility teams.
Yeah, because even the quote-unquote mixed teams like Amazon, they still feel more AG than mixed.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, with Amazons, the reason why I think like with semi-bashy teams that it seems more bashy is because, generally speaking, with agility teams, the only time, well, with semi-bashy teams, the only time you really see them do more agility-based plays than bash-based plays is if they're up against a team that's more bashy than them.
Yeah, that's why I consider them the more AG team. Because if you are someone who can bash you, you're a bad agility team at best. And if you can't
I
out
wouldn't say you're
agility,
bad. I wouldn't say you're a bad agility team, especially as something like, say, Amazon's, considering it's a 1 in 9.
I'm a bad agility player. In my opinion, if I can't bash you, I lose.
Well, gentlemen, thank you all for popping in the stream. And if you want to check out these gentlemen's channels, I will leave links in the description below. But if you want to know what their channels are called, you are welcome to give a shout out on your channels. So please go ahead, what your names and channels are, and we'll hopefully wrap up.
If no one's going to go first, I'll jump first.
Yep.
So I have been Diaphil Eternal, and I'm available on Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, and pretty much everything but our Instagram.
Okay.
I'm the Pirate Joe. And I just have a YouTube because, honestly, screw social media that isn't, say, like a tiny forum I'm a part of, and Discord, because let's be honest, I don't want my information stolen by Mr. Zuckerberg.
And last but not
Besides,
least,
I'd probably get banned on something like Twitter anyway, because, oh no, I said a mean comment once.
I don't know. I just hit affiliate on Twitch, so I'm actually really happy right now.
and last,
Anyways, well, I am Ink Knight, also known as Gladiator, as everyone else in the thing calls me by, because that's what I was before. I was involved mainly with gaming. I need to get back to my drawing, but that's why I am. It's Ink Knight on YouTube. So yeah.
so yep. So
Speaking of drawing, I probably should make a few more pixel art aircraft and stuff. I've done that before.
yep.
I start college for graphics design in September, so I'm really excited to start putting a bit more drawing out as
Yeah.
both channel art
And now
content.
Black.
Yep.
Black, yes, please promote your channel.
Yep. And you all know me, Black79. You all know who I am, and I welcome and thank you, gentlemen, for coming onto this podcast for this special Let's Talk. This will be
Thank
coming,
you.
and I hope to see you all further in the league. And this is Black Temper signing off, and I hope to see you all in the next video. And if you like the videos, please like, share, and subscribe. Ring the dinner bell, or join my friends' channels. There'll be a link in the description below. And I'll see you all later.
I'll kill you.
Have a wonderful day.
Good day. Tally ho.